This is the Conscious Planet Network with your host, myself, Gaianna Sophia. In these episodes, we'll be diving into inspirational stories of change, new technologies, and people really making a difference, including interviews from authors, entrepreneurs, spiritual leaders, journalists, great thinkers, physicists, alternative healers, and so much more. There is just so much going on the planet right now that is helping to change humanity, our planet, and the future, and we need to know about it. A big part of this is showcasing people who've stepped up and aligned with their life purposes, recognizing that the more we attune to our destinies, why we're here, the more we help expand and evolve our collective future. On each of these shows, I'll be sharing inspirational stories of how I'm also personally aligning with my own destiny, and you'll get to see how it unfolds. The Conscious Planet Network is an exploration of the evolution that is already in progress, one that you and I are a part of, that's happening on an individual and global level. There are so many people right now who are contributing to changing the tides of our future. Are you ready to be inspired? Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited you're joining me. I am here in the Gulf Islands community radio station, and I'm so excited to be here because it feels so good to be in a little broadcast studio. It's only about 100 by 100 square feet big. I'm really excited because I'm here sharing a very intimate part of my journey for this past 6 months, which has been how I've changed careers after 40. I'm in my mid-40s and I'm now aligning to something that's even more soulfully purposeful in my life. And I'm starting to live the dreams that I have always been in the back of my head, of my mind, of my heart. And I've really wanted to bring this out into the world. And I wanted to include you in this journey. I wanted to include people who are going through this journey or contemplating leaving their jobs, if there's something else that feels better to be doing rather than doing what they're ongoingly just, by rote doing. I think it's a very powerful experience to take the time to start to question what it is that you want in life. What is the really deeper experience? The experiences, what do we have to give in life? Just something that really nourishes us. I'm not talking about obligation give. I'm talking about nourishing give so that we really experience more in life. So just to give you a nutshell of what my experience has been over this past almost 7 months now, has been I left my career as a sacred sexuality coach. It was kind of devastating actually because I'd built it up for 8 years and I went through a grieving period. And then I started building a website and I started creating a new foundation for something new, but I hadn't fully formed what it was that was coming in yet. And I knew, because I'm very close and connected with my intuition and with my guides, that it would take a little bit of time to unfold what was coming. And so I'm in the place now where I have a website that's pretty much set up. I am now starting to birth things that are just like, okay, now it's very exciting. This is me stepping into the farthest reaches of my shooting star. What are the things that I would absolutely love to do, right? What are the things, the dream jobs? What are they? I've always been an entrepreneur my whole life. And it's helped me to get clear on the process of tuning in and aligning with my life purpose as I went along. I've done amazing things. And now I'm in the place where starting something new that is really based on something very vulnerable, some very vulnerable places of what some depth of soul, I should say, that will reflect my very kind of hidden kind of things that have been bubbling away in my life that I've kept very secret. Things that like my intuition, my connection with spirit, my shamanic side, even this. Me being on the radio, me being in a radio station, I've always wanted, ever since I was probably 19, I've always wanted to be on the radio. And so basically, I this past week I've just shifted like friggin' crazy, and I really wanted to bring up what happened so that you can understand what like a fast forward, everything falling into place looks like. So I have these dreams, and one of the big ones that is coming through is helping people with getting aligned, deepening into their destiny. So that is the main body of work that I'm going to be doing. I'm not sure yet how it's going to unfold, whether it's going to be through one-on-one coaching or if it's going to be through a part school training and also part me working with people with their healing, so they can shed off stuff that isn't aligned with them anymore. Okay, so that's one aspect. And two things that nobody knows about with me is that I really want to be on the radio. Just makes me laugh so hard that I'm here talking to you about this. And the second thing is that I really wanted to do sacred site tours. I've been working on ideas for a podcast for about 6 months now, just putting them all in a folder. And the same with sacred site tours. I was interviewed last Thursday on the radio by Allie Coyne. She's so lovely, and she's got this great radio show that helps people who are starting with business. So she was interviewing me, and when I came in here, I'm like, oh, now this is really cute in here. I'm thinking, it's not perfect, but it's really cute. And boy, wouldn't it be fun to actually step up and do a radio show. And she said to me, they're looking right now. And so as this was happening, as I found out about this person to contact, I actually, it's like you think sometimes that when people have, things fall into place for them, there's no fear, there's no doubt, and they just go with it. Well, maybe there's some people out there like that. But for me, doubt started coming up when I had this email in my hand, and I was feeling like unworthy. I was feeling like, oh, I could never do this. This will never fall into place for me. This is what I was thinking. I heard myself say this with such authority. It was hilarious. It was such authority that I actually started to believe myself. And then I recognized, wow, okay, so here it is. Here's that little piece about me not believing in myself to take myself a little to the next level. Here it is. This is what it looks like. Hello. If I didn't recognize it, I would have just gone with it. And I probably would still have that email address in my pocket right now and not have acted on it. Not felt worthy, not felt like things could possibly happen. So I emailed him. And I told him like a little bit about the concept of what I was thinking for a radio show. And then within 12 or 14 hours, he emailed me back saying he's interested. And I sent him a proposal. And the next day we talked, and that was it. He gave me a time slot, and I basically got trained yesterday. So this all happened within 8 days. And so what I'm saying to you is recognize when opportunities come. Not just the opportunities, but also recognize when things come up that are saboteurs. We need to take them out for tea, really get to know them and Instead of pressing them away and pushing them down, checking in and being like, wow, this has been controlling me. This has been controlling my heart's desires for I don't know how long. I know for me, this is a very old feeling. This is a very old doubt. I've heard this doubt so many times. And so the more we can start to put on our evolutionary glasses so that we can look at these doubts and these fears, whatever it is, in a new way, so we can actually start seeing them rather than having them rule us. This could be termed as baggage. I'm just going to go ahead and reterm what baggage has meant for people, because it's heavy. We think we have to do all of this work in order to get somewhere, to be free. So I'm going to reterm this, and I'm going to call it, they're the keys. They're the keys to the lock. They're the keys to the lock of our freedom. So how does that work? When we are able to recognize these keys, when we're able to recognize the anger, the frustration, the doubt, the fear, the frozen upness that keeps us from walking our destiny, from what fulfills our hearts, the more we can recognize these things and find tools, evolutionary tools to move through them, then we can start to reclaim our life. Then we can start to reclaim how we live and what we get to experience. Otherwise, we're in a position where we're being controlled by these things, where our destinies are being thwarted by the shadows of these energies, because we're not able to really fully step into what our heart's impulses are. And this is really important for any type of work with aligning to self-purpose or life purpose, aligning to work, something that you really want to step into, something that is important for you, aligning to bringing a whole new reality into your life that is different, choosing a different place to live, choosing to buy a new car, choosing to have some experiences that have been on the back burner for a really long time. When we can start putting on these evolutionary glasses, then we start to be able to see from a different point of view. Instead of being afraid of these things, instead of cowering away from these things, we start to be able to look at them and be like, hello. Sometimes it's really helpful even talking in the mirror to yourself. And one of the tricks for doing that is to connect with love as well. So when you're talking to yourself, and this is a little bit on the edge, because a lot of people are like, oh, if you talk to yourself, you're crazy. Okay, fine. But this works. And so call yourself crazy if you want to. So by talking and connecting with yourself eye to eye, and just really witnessing yourself in the place of being afraid. Wow, I'm feeling really afraid right now. I'm feeling really afraid right now. And then coming back to a place of, like, once you've, spilt whatever's there, coming back to a place of love and saying, start with, I love you. These are beautiful. This is like one of the most beautiful self-love techniques ever across the board. It takes a little bit of time before it can kick in. Sometimes for people, most of the time in the beginning especially. But you just keep repeating it. I love you. I love you. I love you. And then eventually you start feeling it. And it's the most nurturing love ever. So back to the story. So I am basically now, I'm here sitting in front of a beautiful microphone, talking to you beautiful people, and it feels really, really good to be here. This is truly something that feels very organic, very natural, very a part of me, and I'm really happy Really, really, really happy to be here. At the same time of the radio show coming into place, a friend of mine had asked me if I would like to do a sacred site tour with her down in Sedona in May, this coming May. And and she's an amazing person. I've almost fainted, really. I've collected all of the skills over the years of doing ceremony, of doing activations for people, and really my senses are super sensitized to energies. And I love the idea of going to Sedona, and so we've been planning it now. And so there's going to be an event, and it's halfway through May, and it's going to be down in Sedona. And I mean, did you hear me gulp? Oh, good Lord. So it's one of those things where it's like, wow, I can't believe that these things at the same time showed up in my life. And literally, I didn't do anything. It just happened. It's like opportunities knocked. And it feels rare for me for that to happen, especially because of all of the energies that I've been navigating over this past 6 to 8 months of like going through some really dark stuff and letting go of fears and just getting clear in my heart of what I really, really, really want to do. My advice to you is truly shoot for the stars. If I can do it, you can do it. We can do it. And the more we can step in to this type of work for ourselves, the more we can really believe in ourselves, then we can start to step up into our genius, step up into the areas that we're being called. We're stepping up into these places. By stepping up into these places, we get to start fulfilling a larger part of the collective human soul. And so basically what my understanding is that each of us are like an expression of not only humankind, but also divinity. And you can see divinity in whichever way you see it. I see it as like an energy, creator, source, energy, those types of things. And the more that we express our impulses, like especially when I'm not talking about our lower impulses, because sometimes we really have to check in with those, but with impulses of looking after ourselves, impulses of believing in ourselves, to have those experiences where we are becoming more of who we are. What we're doing is we are incarnating even more. I know you think that incarnation happens once, but as we go through life and by being true to ourselves, we incarnate more and more. So our soul starts to really show up. It starts to become cleaner and more precise and more defined as a being. For some reason or other, we can end up in jobs that don't resonate. Sure, they may bring in income and support ourselves on a fundamental level, but they may not nourish our inner lives. So how do you identify if you're in one of these jobs? You can answer these questions. Do you wake up excited to go to work each day? Do you feel like you're expanding, bringing forth the best of yourself? Do you feel satisfied at the end of the day, excited to get back to work the next day? If any of these don't ring true, these episodes are going to inspire and uplift you. We haven't really been taught that we can change our worlds, that we can shift our lives into something amazing. Part of the things that it takes is inquiring within to see what it is that wants to come out, and believing in ourselves to get there. I've put this show together to highlight people who have stepped in, who are living their destiny, and share the process it took to get there. I want to help to shift the tables and inspire you with what is possible. I also want to I feel really strongly that I want to highlight how people are making a difference on our planet from stepping in. It's really important for me to start bringing the good news in. This is part of my mission, is to bring the good news in. I feel extremely passionate about the fact that we are not getting the good news. We are not tuned in to what is truly going on on our world. There's so much good stuff out there that's happening, but we're not hearing about it. Thank you for taking these stories in. I hope they inspire you to walk to the beat of your own drum and start to tickle your curiosity into the possibility of enjoying a bright and beautiful future. May these stories inspire us all to see a greater vision of what's possible for the world. If you like this story and want to hear more, then Google Gulf Island Community Radio and listen live on your computer every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can find out more about me, Gaianna, at gaiannasophia.com. That's spelled GAIANNASOPHIA.com, where I've got links to my YouTube channels, and you get to see me live, and the Conscious Planet Network Facebook page, where you can tune in and listen to the recordings of this show online. And special thanks to Kilo Kaz for letting us use their song Happy in the Meadow for our broadcast. Thanks for listening to the Conscious Planet Network, broadcasting to you from the Gulf Island Community Radio. See you next time.